absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of September 20th, where we are starting this week with a full moon, and it is an advanced degree full moon in the energy of Pisces, and we're going to end this week with Mercury officially stepping into this retrograde. So it is a week where we've got energetic shift going on, and I will tell you, between the 20th, 21st, just depending on where you are, 26th, 27th, depending on where you are in the world, I want you to just be mindful that these may be some days that are a little bit more sensitive. As Mercury is shifting, as a full moon is happening, we can have energies going that kind of feel like it's a lot going on. It's easy to get overwhelmed. So just be mindful that these are the days where some stationing is happening or an event is happening. So to just kind of take it easy, especially if you are energetically sensitive. I have Mercury really high at the top of my chart, right next to my midheaven. So whenever a Mercury retrograde or Mercury interaction is happening, I do know to take it a little bit more still for myself. So consider that for you and how that applies as well. All right, friends, as we're coming into this week, right here on Monday, it's got busy Monday, not to just mention that we have this full moon, but it is a busy Monday. First things first, we've got Venus in a quincunx, which we started to talk about the quincunx last week on this channel. And again, if you haven't watched the class with Rick Levine talking specifically about the quincunx, I'll make sure there's a card up here so you can see it. But we've got Venus in a quincunx to Chiron, who is retrograde. Now, as these two are having an interaction, what happens is that Venus is looking for this value. Looking for love, looking for money, looking for a way to relate, a way to bring in some harmony. Chiron is our wound, right? It's the greatest wound that we have, or the wound that's being stimulated in our chart, but it's also our greatest teacher. Now, Chiron is retrograde, so the wound and the healing, we're looking backwards into it in the energy of Aries. So the wound of the identity, the wound of the ego, the wound of who and what I think I am, my inner warrior, right? So it's in a retrograde place, so it's looking backwards. Now, as Venus is quincunxing with Chiron, this is an energy that tells me that it's like we're trying to adjust. We can't quite get it down. Like, where am I placing myself that I think really has value? You know, how can I take myself and make money? How can I put the power struggle down? And where am I internally still in some ideas I have about me or what I have to offer to the world or who I am, that I'm actually having this little bit of power struggle. So while I don't think that this is a phenomenally fun aspect, what may be happening with this is that you are trying out different things on Monday to see if you belong in that space. You're trying out different ideas of how you could make money. You're trying out different ideas of relationshiping or connecting with people or trying to meet people midway. And it may feel like that itchy tag you're having to keep adjusting, and you're not quite getting there. So just know it can be an energy that is annoying, but also once you get mastery, you find that middle ground with the quincunx, you can actualize both of those energies. So it's really a lovely energy. So keep that in mind as we're coming into an already busy day. Just behind that, we're going to have the full moon happening in Pisces. So make sure you check your chart so you can look at this Piscean energy. The full moon says that something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. There's all of the light on in the sky. So we are seeing it for what it is. Now, the ruling planet of this particular moon is Neptune, and it's retrograde, right? So it's already, we don't have forward thinking. There's a little bit of cloudiness that's on the horizon here. Neptune is also going to have us in a position, I think, at this particular time where we have already been resetting our ideals. What is ideal for your life? And this may be some questioning that, you know, the lights are on now and you're looking back over what you believed was ideal for you before. What was the ideal living arrangement? What was the ideal working arrangement? What were the ideal financial arrangements? And now, as Neptune's retrograde and we're having this moon, you might be looking back and thinking, yeah, that's not really ideal. I don't really believe in that anymore. It's definitely a moon of compassion. Compassion. We've got to get into the compassionate position. And if you are out there being like, oh, Stormie, I cannot compassion anymore, I got compassion fatigue, remember that compassion has to be bestowed to you as well. So wherever you're also needing to adjust your ideals on compassion, I think that this is a phenomenal moon to be looking at that. Later in the day, we're going to have Mercury, who's heading towards this retrograde, in a trine to Jupiter, who is retrograde as well. Now, as these two are coming together in this trine, remember the trine is the pocket of opportunity, but it creates the pocket of ease or opportunity, but we have to go to it. You've got to go to it. So here we are. We've got Venus in conjunct with Chiron retrograde. We've got this full moon happening, and then Mercury swinging around to trine over here with Jupiter retrograde, which actually gives us this phenomenal energy to move something forward, like you're going on a quest for something. So I really think of Monday as the day where you're searching for answers, but you're searching in a space where everything is in your favor to see the truth. We've got planets that are retrograde. They are looking back on your past. It is getting some of the delusion out of the way. It is resetting what you did in the past versus where you want to go in the future, right? So you really have a lot of help and space here. Now, with this Mercury trine Jupiter, I would like you to look back in this year. Look back to July 12th. What was happening? What was happening around education for you? What was happening around expansion, advancement, anything legal maybe that was going on? Because this is another dip into that particular energy. Now, as we go forward, I want you to note this particular transit again when we get to October 3rd, right in the beginning of the month, and then we're going to jump back into November 1st. So things are happening in cycles. I really want to stress that as you listen to weekly reports, whether it's mine or someone else's, things are happening in cycles because we have time to grow. We have time to see it again. So look back over this time and see what decision is actually just a continuation of where you were. And now you can take actions that are a lot more in alignment with these ideals that we've been showing to like re-look over them, okay? Now, as we get to the, what day is it? The 22nd. On the 22nd, we are going to have the sun move into the energy of Libra, which is very exciting. So happy birthday, Libras. Not only does it become Libra season where we're now going to look for balance, we're going to look for harmony, we're going to look to bring a bit more beauty and art and justice into our lives. We're going to look at healthy partnering, right? But it's also an equinox. Depending on where you live, it is an equinox. If you're here in the United States, we're going to be moving into the autumn equinox, so welcoming in fall. And of course, if you're one of our friends down under, you are moving into spring. So whatever your equinox is, happy equinox. We are moving into a new season. And that is the other thing I want to stress about the 22nd, is that because this is a cardinal energies start our new seasons. They bring us forward. This is the fresh start. This is you, looking at your life, looking at the people in your home and around you and saying, okay, we made it another season. Where do we start fresh? We've had a full moon that asks for forgiveness, for compassion, for closure, to check in on that mind, body, spirit alignment. And now I am ready as the sun, my motivation moves into a new season to participate as I've been rebirthed, as I've been renewed. So in a state of balance, of course. So very exciting day as we get to the 22nd. Now we're also going to have on that day though, Mercury is very busy this week. Mercury is going to be squaring Pluto, who is retrograde. And yes, we have seen this already. Okay, Mercury heading towards retrograde, squaring, so putting you under pressure. Pluto, who's about change and about transformation, but is also retrograde, so changing something from your past. Now, all the way back, if you go back to April 17th, go back and look into your life around about that time, what was happening where you're like, wait a minute, this isn't clear. This is not clear. This is actually, something has been misrepresented here. I've misrepresented myself, or I didn't have all of the facts, or maybe something was brought to your attention at that time, and it has taken up until now to really see that you didn't have some information about something. Something was not factual. Something was better than you thought it was going to be, and it just doesn't fit anymore. And now as we come to this next square, you're being asked to take some action. Okay, the information's been revealed to you. What are you going to do about it is the question now. What are you going to change? Pluto retrograde to leave the power struggle or to bring things to the light, into the truth, right? Now you'll see this again October 1st and then again November 2nd as Mercury fully finishes its retrograde cycle. You'll see this, and then you should have a lot more clarity, okay? As we get to the 23rd, we've got Venus in an opposition with Uranus, who is, of course, retrograde at this particular time as well. Now, Venus and Uranus opposing each other. This is interesting because sometimes opposites attract. You know, if you're a magnet, opposites like always attract. So this could definitely be an energy in your life for this day where this opposition I don't think necessarily has to be negative, but it's certainly something really different. Maybe you're interacting with something that is really, really different in your life or in your world, or somebody comes into your life and in your world and you're like, no thanks at first. And what you're going to need to do is bridge the gap of that opposition. Where can you find middle ground? You know, even if it's something that is within you and you have this value idea, Venus, right? I want it to be this way. It has to look this way. It needs to be this way. And Uranus is over here saying, no, we have to get rid of this old idea. So even if it's an internal power struggle that you're going through and you feel the opposition, ease yourself. Ease yourself into where can both ideas be a little bit right, and then we can take action and have relief from there, okay? Whatever it is, it's a day where you can expect some of the unexpected. It is Venus, so I do think you can expect unexpected relationship things to come your way or unexpected financial things to come your way, whichever way you perceive that to be, good or bad, okay? When we get to the 25th and we're now rolling and roaming through the weekend, we're going to see Mars in a trine to Saturn, who is still retrograde, of course. Now, Mars trining Saturn, this is action, this is energy, this is the vibrance of that like teenager energy coming together in a positive action with an elder. Right? So it's like the teenager and the elder get together. So we have an opportunity to do something here. And where's the elder pointing? To the past. The elder's like, remember this? This was a dream you had. This was work you were willing to put in. Let's go back to that. And let's take some perseverance and let's take some tenacity of movement, of action, and go do that. There's a lot of stamina. There's a lot of drive that is available with this particular energy. Now, where I also think that this is very good for us as we're coming through the weekend is that if there is something you wanted to do, something you wanted to take on, Saturn is in for the long haul. So if you need to commit to something on this day, and especially if it's that you need to commit to a desire that is important to you, that brings balance, that brings harmony, that brings beauty, that makes you feel like you have some kind of vitality coursing through your body and your life, this is a wonderful day to make this particular commitment. Now, this has already been presented to you. You saw this energy back March 21st. What was it? What were you thinking about? What were you working on? What was that project back there before Saturn went retrograde? What was happening, my friends? Because now your opportunity to get in there is available to you with this particular energetic stamp. Now, as we close out this week on the 26th, we're going to see Mercury step retrograde in the energy of Libra. Okay, now we talked about it in the monthly video. So if you have not watched your September, either your September shorts, which is a short horoscope video, or your September long form video, click at the card right here and I'll make sure you can see it because we talked about the full Mercury retrograde cycle. But Mercury retrograde, first of all Mercury retrograde things still apply unless you have Mercury retrograde. Okay? If you don't have Mercury retrograde, all the standards apply. Please be mindful of contracts. Read all of the fine print. Read it twice. Electronic equipment, make sure you are backing up that computer. Don't go hide under a rock because it's Mercury retrograde, but be mindful that conversations, there could be confusion, there could be holdups or delays, especially if you're traveling or you're doing anything that has to do with business, commerce, or mercurial energies. Okay, there could definitely be some delays. Now, if you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, you may be finding that your movement actually feels unrestricted. You're like, what's all of this? Where did all of this come from? Because your retrograde energy gets together with the retrograde energy of a transit, and you kind of feel more pushed out, like the world is a little bit more roomy. So if you're finding yourself having a lot more external interaction, that is definitely a reason that could be triggering that to happen. But as Mercury is taking this retrograde in Libra, it is the curiosity of balance. It is the mental curiosity, the mind and the balance question come together. It is an absolute place for you to explore. And where are we looking for balance? In our relationships, including the relationship of you with you. We've been through a lot on this freaking globe in the last year? Where are you at in relation to yourself, your vision, your physical health, knowing that you have enough time to sit and get quiet and know you? You know, where are you at in relation to the things in your life? And then we move from the people, right? Like now, where am I in relation to my husband, my wife, my spouse, my kids, my coworkers, right? But it starts here. Where are you in alignment with your divine, with yourself? And then we move outward from there. So Mercury retrograde in Libra is giving us an opportunity to go back over and to answer these questions. Now, as early as 10 degrees of Libra, when Mercury started to slow down on the 6th of September, these are things you can really dig into in nuance, looking over what Mercury retrograde is bringing your attention to. So all the way back at September 6th, what kind of questions were you starting to get curious about? What kind of things that had to do with relationships, or had to do with money, or had to do with balance or art? Or significant relationships in your life? What was coming up, or what came into your life at that time? And now you'll have this next 3 weeks to review it, revise it, reconsider it, make sure that it's in alignment, make adjustments or edits as things need to happen. So it's really important that you grab your chart. And if you don't have a chart, please come get one from me. Go to astro.com, do whatever you need to have your own chart so you can see exactly what you're reviewing at this time. It makes no sense to waste your time reviewing portions of your life that are not actually asking for your attention at this time. You may be thinking you really want to look over this relationship over here, and you're hearing astrologers say relationship, but if that's not the area that needs your attention, you're going to be wasting it. So let's get into the nuance of how this is going to help you, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, I do think it's going to be an interesting, energetic week for sure. Wherever you are in the world, I'm sending you lots and lots of love. I'm sending you the help and the hope that astrology can do some good guidance for you. So like this video, comment, share, subscribe. There's videos that are going to pop up at the end here. Make sure you follow them and check out what is going on throughout the month, throughout the week for you next, okay? Bye, everybody.